Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're viewing this. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Thanks for joining me again today. I truly appreciate you all joining. I truly appreciate you helping me spread the message because we are still killing it on this channel. We are up 5 trades. I've brought 5 trades to this channel. All 5, every single last one of them is winning versus Bitcoin. Meaning, if you had taken the trades, moved out of Bitcoin, and put them into these 5 trades, you'd be up versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin's had a couple good weeks here, a good month of July, right? You'd be up more if you had taken my trades versus Bitcoin. So no matter which way you cut it, right? If you had taken the trades that we've been talking about on this channel, you'd be doing good. So help me spread the message because Bitcoin is not the end all be all right now. The alt season is here. Alt season has been here for a while, and alt season's only going to expand in the right alts. You need to be in the right alts, right? So if you appreciate that, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Help me spread the message because we're killing it on this channel. Now, when I say the right alts, right, like the news today, right, is Solana. Solana wallets are getting drained left and right. I've never brought Solana to this channel. Actually, I've talked about how Solana, has all these multiple down periods that going back months and months, right? All of a sudden they just shut down for 2 days, shut down the blockchain for 2 days. Solana, has a lot of troubles, and to further exacerbate the narrative, right? Solana developers are out there posting videos of ripping on Cardano and its slow approach, its scientific, peer-reviewed approach that moves slower, but they're not having the problems. Cardano doesn't have the problems that Solana's had. And Cardano has been running for thousands of days on end and no interruptions, and Solana can't make it 2 months. And then on top of it, Solana wallets are getting drained left and right, and people are losing their life savings. So not only have I brought 5 winning trades to this channel, I do my best to stay away from the toxic cryptos out there that aren't performing as well. So if you like that, give me a like, give me a subscribe. So let's talk about the stock market today. The stock market flew. I mean, look at this. The Dow is up 1.3%. The S&P up 1.5%. NASDAQ up 2.5%. And then on top of that, the DXY is flat. So, DXY being flat, the stock market flying, you think what would that give you in crypto? Crypto flying. Well, crypto started up, but it's not doing very well right now. It's kind of come back down. And there's one channel that told you about a resistance. I still have not seen one person talking about this resistance. On Twitter, on YouTube, I haven't seen one person talking about this resistance. None. Hey, if you've seen anybody else talking about this resistance, put it in the comments because I want to follow them because they see the world like I do, right? And not that you should pay attention to only people that see the world like you do, because differing viewpoints are what make the world go round. But seriously, I haven't seen one person. I want to know if there's somebody else out there that sees what I'm seeing because I haven't seen them. And I mean, let's talk about Bitcoin, right? I've told you this. I've been telling you for weeks, if not months, that this red line up above here, pay attention to this red line on the middle of the screen right here. It's a descending, it was a support line back here in May and June, right? Held perfectly as support in May and June. And if you're new to my channel, that support line goes back 18 months. 18 months. And it's been during those 18 months, it served as support and resistance. And when we broke it, right, I told you we're gonna get back up there and it's gonna act as resistance, that red line. Well, look what happened over last weekend. I mean, I've had that red line on there if you've been following my channel for weeks. What happened? Look at that. We wicked right to that red line and got rejected. Got rejected right at the dollar figure that I had drawn months ago, basically. And so help me spread the word because somebody else, people should be paying attention to these resistance lines, not just the minimal followers that I have. I need to spread the message. I need people to understand that we're in two descending channels. And right now we came up to the heart line of those two descending channels, and we got rejected perfectly at the exact spot I told you we would. So now what do I see going on right now, right? So we have this blue line, and I told you right when we broke down, right, that blue line was going to serve as resistance, but not as strong as the red line. And sure enough, what happened? We got rejected there. Back on July 8th, went up to that blue line perfectly. Again, perfectly. I told you about it in advance. We got rejected. And then, I said we'd get above it, but then we would get rejected off the red line, the red resistance. And sure enough, exactly. I mean, I can't draw it more perfect than that, even if I drew it after the fact and I drew it before the fact. So now we're coming back down to that blue line. Now, will that blue line act as support? We wicked down to it yesterday, right? You can see yesterday we wicked right down to it, and then we bounced off of it. But now, that bounce was short-lived, and we're having another red day here. So will that blue line hold? If it doesn't hold, I think we're going to revisit this red line down here. So I just drew this red line. This hasn't been on my chart for months, like that upper red line, and it's kind of a support line that goes back to basically the lows after the Terra Luna dump. So the lows when we saw it go to 17.5, right? These daily candles closed here, and ever since then we've kind of had an ascending line of support here with higher lows. So if you draw that out, we got three beautiful touches here. If you draw that out, potentially Bitcoin could come back down and revisit, right there, it's about 20,000. If it takes a couple days to get down here, it could come back down to 20,000. So that if that blue line doesn't hold, I would honestly look for it to come back down and potentially test that lower red line at 20,000. Now, don't make me say I told you so in a few weeks or a few days or a few weeks when we come back down and touch that red line. Help me spread the word, right? If that blue line doesn't hold, that red line is definitely in play. And hopefully that red line holds, because I still don't think it's out of the question that we go, go back down to the 17,000 range and possibly lower. Excuse me. So help me spread the word, because more people than my minimal number of followers need to hear the message that Bitcoin has some strong resistance, and that descending level of support or resistance right now is the strongest resistance. Once we break that, and we will. I've said this before. We will break above that red line, and like I said, only after we break it, hold it for 7 days, like a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month. Come back down and test it as support. Then, and only then, can you start talking about Bitcoin maybe going back up to 30, 40,000 and beyond, right? Only then. And that's why I'm playing it. This is not financial advice. You need to make your own financial decisions based on your own financial situation. But that's the way I see it playing out. And so far, it's played out perfectly. So now I turn the tables to talk about all our winning trades. And I'm just going to focus on one right now, because it's the biggest gainer. It's our biggest winner here so far. And I told you it would be our biggest winner in the shorter time frame. The longer time frame, Cardano is going to be the bigger winner. But when I pulled out this chart and showed it to you for the first time on this channel, it was at its lowest versus Bitcoin, and I said it would get to my expected return before Cardano would get to my expected return. So right now, it's killing it. And I want to talk about where I'm going to take some profits and what I expect after that. But first of all, right on this channel since day one, I've been doing this channel for almost 14 weeks now. Since day one on this channel, I told you any new money put into Cardano would outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin by the end of the year, a year from now and 5 years from now. And excuse me, sorry about that. any new money put in Ethereum would outperform Bitcoin by those same time frames. And we're collecting data to prove it on this channel every day. Every day we collect data. And we're doing that by every week for 13 weeks now so far. We put $100 into each of those 3 cryptos and see how they're performing. How is our dollar cost averaging working out? I said by the end of the year, Cardano and Ethereum would outperform Bitcoin. Sorry about that. Well, it's already happening, right? So here's how that portfolio is looking. ADA and Ethereum are outperforming Bitcoin already. And Ethereum is, the bigger winner, crushing Bitcoin at this point. And, ADA's a little bit ahead of Bitcoin. And that will change in the coming weeks, right? ADA is, as soon as Vassal is launched, ADA is going to explode. As soon as Ethereum successfully merges and moves to proof of stake, Ethereum is going to move ahead faster against Bitcoin. And again, Ethereum is trying to catch ADA or Cardano in that respect, trying to move to proof of stake, trying to improve its scalability. And that's what Vassal's all about, improving Cardano's scalability. So when those good pieces of news launch, I know a lot of people say sell the news. I don't think so. I don't think so, because there are projects just waiting for Vassal to launch to get moving on Cardano. Moving to proof of stake and the merge is going to improve the performance of Ethereum as well. So it's buy the news. As soon as those launch successfully, and that's what Cardano's all about, right? They've delayed it, but they're not going to have the problem Solana's having. They're not going to have to shut down the blockchain for 2 days because something went haywire. When Vassal launches, it's good as gold, at least in my opinion, right? And that's the way Cardano's worked for years at this point. And Ethereum, right? I think the merge, Ethereum 2.0 has kind of been delayed as well. But when it's done, it'll be done right. And so, in my opinion, it's a buy the news event. When those finally get launched, in my opinion, it's buy the news. And I think they will greatly outperform Bitcoin throughout the rest of the year as soon as those successfully launch. So so I wanted to talk about the 5 cryptos, the 5 alts that I've told you I was moving into. Really, I moved to 4. There's a 5th I told you about, but it's also outperforming Bitcoin. And every single one I told you at the exact bottom, pretty much at the exact bottom. So the 3 that I moved into are Polkadot, outperforming Bitcoin ever since I told you about it. Matic, which I didn't move into, it's greatly outperforming Bitcoin ever since I told you about it. Polygon, Polkadot is greatly outperforming not greatly, but it's outperforming Bitcoin. Aave was the other one I was trying to think about. Aave is outperforming Bitcoin ever since I told you about it. And ADA is outperforming Bitcoin ever since I told you about it. But the one that is greatly outperforming Bitcoin ever since I told you about it at the exact bottom is Ethereum. So look at it, because that's the one I want to spend a little bit of time talking about today. So Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And I look at the Coinbase chart, and we look at the weekly chart for those of you new to my channel. A weekly chart. So these are not short-term trades. And again, okay, here's what I want to talk about, right? I told you about this chart. I brought this chart the night that we were basically touching this support line down here, this red line. At the very bottom, Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And I told you when one Ethereum was about 0.01 or 0.052 Bitcoin, right? Down here at the exact bottom, right? I didn't tell you 3 weeks before. I didn't tell you 3 weeks later. So I gave you the optimal point of entry. And now from 0.052 up to 0.07 Bitcoin. So it's around a 40% return, 38, 40% return, somewhere in there. Now here's my game plan, right? This blue line, this upper blue line, that was always my target. Ever since I told you about this chart, we're way back here, at the bottom, I told you I was looking for the upper blue line, which is almost a 50% return. What I expect to happen is I expect Ethereum to get up to close to this blue line, challenge this blue line, get rejected. Again, that's my rejection point. And I will sell a little bit before that blue line, probably. I will, not all of it, all of my Ethereum, but a majority of my Ethereum, I will probably move out of Ethereum and into another alt. I'm not going to move it into Bitcoin at this point. And what alt? I'm not sure. So, follow me on Twitter at crypto_liberal. Follow this channel, because when I move out, I will be honest and forthcoming about what I'm moving into. Maybe it's just gonna be a stable coin, but it might be Aave, might be ADA. Those are probably my two that I'm thinking about right now, but there might be others. There are others that I'm tracking, not Solana, right? But follow me on Twitter and follow this channel, and I will tell you when I move out of ETH, what I'm going to put it into. And so what I expect to happen, right, on ETH is come up to this blue line, whether it happens over here, say, and right before that blue line, I'm probably going to get out. And what I expect to happen is ETH to come back down and test this red line again at some point. Now, this might not happen for 6 months or a year or whatever, right? But the apex of this ascending triangle we're in, like, let's look at this ascending triangle, right? Look at that. It's a beautiful ascending triangle. Look at the upper blue line and the ascending red line. It's such a perfect ascending triangle. So, but the apex of it, right, is way out here in September of 23. That is a long time away. So I don't anticipate us breaking out right now. I could be wrong, and I would move back into Ethereum should we get above that upper blue line, break it, move up, hold it for a while, come back down and test it, right? We did that back here. We broke above it. We tried to come back down and test it as support. It didn't hold as support, right? So you knew it was coming back down to this red line. So that's why I will move out of Ethereum before this blue line, just right before this blue line, move it into something else, wait for it to come back down and test this red line again as support, and move back in. And eventually what I anticipate happening is exactly what I said. Breaking this blue line, going up above it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, say, come back down and test it as support. When it successfully tests it as support, Ethereum is going to crush Bitcoin. It's going to crush Bitcoin. The narrative of Bitcoin is over, right? It's not a hedge against inflation. Now the narrative is that it's actually beneficial for climate change. That narrative will explode in flames as well. It's proof of stake, highly energy intensive. Why would you do that when you have proven proof of maybe I said proof of stake, but Bitcoin is proof of work, highly energy intensive. Why would you waste time in that, trying to defend that protocol, when you have proven proof of stake protocols like Cardano out there that are even more decentralized than Bitcoin at this point, and actually are energy a lot less energy intensive, and actually are beneficial for the environment. So Cardano is gonna is gonna greatly outperform, in my opinion, by the end of the year, when Vassal launches and scalability is enhanced on the Cardano protocol. Cardano's gonna fly, and Ethereum is gonna be right on its tail. And I hope that chart we were talking about in Ethereum proves my point, right? That ascending triangle, Ethereum is gonna crush Bitcoin as soon as that breaks. Now it's a long-term trade, right? September, next year, September of 23 is when that apex, we reach that apex of that chart. So it might not break until July of next year. It's a long-term trade, but I hope you're playing it with me. I hope you understand what I'm trying to get across. So that's it. I hope you're doing well. I truly appreciate everybody that does watch my videos. I hope you help me spread the word, because frankly, Every single chart we bring to this this channel wins versus Bitcoin. Alt season we're here. We're in alt season. And when the market turns around, these alts are going to fly. They're going to fly versus Bitcoin. So I hope you appreciate that message. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, help me spread the word. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Have a good night.